middle of 2021. And finally, with this shareholder vote that we had just a few weeks ago, it looks like I convinced most of you to take this path. There's a second thing that we needed to be strong. Many of you hate short sellers. So do I. Because they're betting against me. And I don't like that. And I own a lot of stock, like you own stock. And I don't want it to go down, I want it to go up. And the short sellers are betting that it's going to continue to go down. But there's only one thing that defeats short selling. And it's not begging the SEC to regulate the stock market differently. There's only one thing that beats short sellers. Remember, short sellers are betting against a company's success. That's what that means. They benefit when the stock price goes down. People who own the stock long, they benefit when the stock price goes up. The only way to beat the short sellers is to destroy the short thesis. The only way to destroy the short thesis is to have a successful company. That's when the short sellers have to run away and hide or disappear. That's when they have to cover. And the reason they haven't disappeared yet is because we're still down from pre-pandemic levels by a lot. And here's the big end. How do you survive a 3-year crisis like this? The answer is, you have a ton of cash in the bank. I mean a ton of cash. Because if you don't, at some point you run out of cash. And when you run out of cash, you go bankrupt. And when you go bankrupt, that's the ultimate short seller thesis. But if you have enough cash, you don't. And you can outlast the pandemic. And the reason I know this to be true is because in 2021, we raised we raised almost $2.5 billion of cash by selling stock. And when we did that, we were diluting the stock as we did that, and guess what happened? The stock price went from 2 to 72, as we were diluting the shares, but we were putting so much cash in the bank that we just couldn't die. And we were destroying the short thesis. You may recall that in the summer of 2021, I asked the shareholders, we want to sell more stock. And we could not get a yes vote. So we pulled the ballot initiative, and we couldn't get a yes vote. And when we stopped issuing more shares, the stock price started to fall. Because the short sellers had a thesis again. Their thesis was, hey, AMC's going to run out of cash. They can't raise any more debt because we were all maxed out in debt. And they can't raise any more equity because the shareholders haven't given them more shares to sell. They're going to run out of cash. They're going to die. And the reason they thought that is because the second largest movie theater chain in the world, called Cineworld in Europe and Regal here in the United States, own the same company, guess what they did in September of 22, like 6 months ago? They ran out of cash. And they filed for bankruptcy. And the same time they ran out of cash, let's say no cash. Let's say it's $4 million of cash when they filed for bankruptcy. For a big company, $4 million of cash likes a minute of cash.
The stock's at
Hard to run a company
$13
this
a
size
share.
for under $100 million. The same time they ran out of cash, AMC had $900 million of cash. And with this shareholder vote that you just approved by a margin of 88 to 12 in this March 14 vote, you gave us the ability again to raise cash. And it's actually why I'm so incredibly confident that AMC's future is bright. Because no matter what the world throws at us, no matter whether the movie theater industry comes back in 23, or not until 24, or not until 25, God forbid, we will be able to raise enough cash that we can outlast it. And that's the significance of what you did in your vote a couple of weeks ago. So we need two things, not just to survive, but to prosper and thrive again. First is we need recovery in the box office. But you saw these films that are coming. I just told you, box office in the first quarter is up 28%. Super Mario Brothers grossed over $200 million in 5 days. The box office is building, and we need enough cash in the bank that no one can ever hypothesize that we're not going to make it. And because of the way you all voted, remember the vote was 88 to 12% yes. I can sit here and tell you today that subject only to the whims of a Delaware judge, because there's a lawsuit in Delaware, we got to get our way through that. But hopefully the judge will see the right side of this argument. We will be able to raise whatever cash we need to make sure that COVID doesn't get us, that Wall Street doesn't get us, that short sellers don't get us. Nobody's going to get us. And that we can look to a brighter future. Which takes me back to all of you. And it's sort of what I said, just like when I came on to just welcome you to the theater. Guys, you saved moviegoing in America. There are a lot of movie theater chains that went under. AMC got this close to going under before you arrived on the scene. But we're here because we have you, and we have your support. And I know some of you are here only because you want to make money. Nothing wrong with that. God bless America. But a lot of you are here because you like going to a theater. And you didn't want to see Wall Street take out the whole movie industry or the biggest movie theater chain in the world in AMC. And I think we have a pretty good product. All things considered, I think we do a really good job of serving our guests all across the country and across Europe. And you all voted with your feet and your arms and your heads and your wallets and your voices. And you said, no, not on your watch. You're not going to let them take AMC down. And you gave us the resources and the love to beat it. And the reason I know this, I live on Twitter now. I spend like an hour a day, every day, weekends. You see me tweet at 2 a.m. It's just like, I'll go to sleep at 9, I'll wake up at 2, I'll read Twitter for 30 minutes, get in a really bad mood and go back to sleep. By the way, Elon Musk, wherever you are, it's a cesspool. Could you clean up Twitter, please? But even though there's a little bit of hate on Twitter, and that's not just an AMC thing, that's like, go anywhere, talk to anybody who's on Twitter, I'll tell you, it's pretty rough out there. But there's so much love for our company on Twitter. I write every tweet you see from me, I write myself. I probably read 1,000 or 2,000 inbound tweets from you all every single day. I mean, that sounds like a lot. Like, does he have to do any work? It's like, a tweet's like 20 words. It doesn't take very long to read a tweet. Boom, you do like 100 tweets in like 4 minutes. But I learned so much about what's on your mind by reading Twitter. Remember, we had 4 million shareholders at the height of it all. I think we have between 3 and 4 million shareholders now. I don't know the exact number, but it's still millions of shareholders. And like, a lot of you talk about AMC a lot on Twitter. It's like incredible. It's like incredible how much commentary I see on Twitter about our company. And it reminds me every single day, it's because it's your company. You own it. It's yours. We are you. I work for you. And your passion for this company is why we can continue to serve the American public so well. And I'm going to leave you with kind of this thought.